White? Okay, one last question.
Jim Nitto. So my father lived in Aurora for 10 years. It doesn't work. He knows that. And he's left Colorado. That's one issue. The second, Senator, you spoke about talking to the business community. Could you share with me some ideas about how you do that? Because I don't think they're listening as much as we want them in this room to listen.
Yeah, and it's critical. In order for us to suspend TABOR for 5 years, we needed to go back to a community that initially was either, ambivalent about TABOR or sort of supported it, and talk to them about coming on board to get it suspended. Our bond ratings had dropped. It was costing Colorado more to borrow money because we simply couldn't meet our debts. They did come on board and helped put together a huge coalition of contractors, people who thought that they had good businesses, rebuilding roads and building access lanes and making our roads safer. They were huge contributors to the timeout because their work had been stagnant. And with the population growth, if you don't have entrance and egress that's safe and you have more cars on the road, they needed it for business purposes. Community colleges retrain people and put them back into a workforce if their jobs have been eliminated or are no longer there. We have Colorado Health Sciences Center. We had lost over 100 of our teaching faculty because of the unstable conditions. We were funding our public teaching hospital at less than any other state in the union. This was not good. We thought we were going to be a mecca of technical and scientific research, and you can't be that. Although we have 5 Nobel Prize winners at the University of Colorado in Boulder working on issues, you can't have the spin-off companies when you have no infrastructure to support them. And that's what the business community finally got, that business and the economic lifeblood of the state would thrive if you could extract yourself from this very restrictive TABOR.
The business community, you need to, when reaching out to the business community, Colorado was able to get it to the business community because they saw the impact of it, of what it was doing to the workforce. And they weren't getting the trained workforce to be able to compete with other states. So it's really talking about what it does to the services that they care about most. They want the transportation infrastructure to move goods throughout the state so they can bring things to market. They want an educated workforce that's going to be able to make sure they have talent pool that they can build and expand their business. Colorado, it's interesting, we have what they call the Colorado paradox. We're one of the most educated states in the country. When you look at PhDs and master's degrees and college degrees. However, we have one of the lowest graduation rates in the country because we don't educate our own, we just bring them in because it's a beautiful place to live and people move to Colorado. But we're not educating our own kids who live in Colorado. And businesses are taking notice to that and saying, okay, well, we shouldn't move to Colorado because you're not building that workforce through your own kids to make sure that they're going to be ready to go to college and then ready to go to the workforce. And that's partly because of TABOR, and partly because we haven't been able to fund our K-12 education system well enough to create a better graduation rate, better ready, prepared for the 21st century. So it's really important to talk to the business communities about the workforce and the infrastructure needs and how TABOR is going to deteriorate that. And while they might think they're going to save money, they might save money when they get their refund, but it's going to cost them a lot more in terms of infrastructure that they're going to lose in time to delivery to market, and in terms of the retraining they're going to have to do for their workforce because the state is not providing the adequate public education system that they need to have a good workforce.
I'd just like to say it was a really proud moment to stand and watch labor unions working with businesses, disparate groups that usually don't get along, standing for the common good. And we've lost a sense of what the common good is. So it was a moment of Americana, if you will, that we all realize we're in this together and we can destroy what we once built.
And I would say Colorado is not the only state where we have had business and labor and other groups come together to fight TABOR. It's in the 20 states that we've seen TABOR throughout the country. Over half of those, the business communities very loudly and clearly said this is not right for our state. in Oklahoma, Missouri. But the way that we got the business on board was not by just knocking on the state chamber's door. That never worked for us. It really went to going grassroots. It was going to the local business leaders and asking them, people who sit on your boards and who really care about social issues, care about infrastructure, care about their communities. We got them to then talk to their local chambers then talked to the state chamber. Sometimes we got the state chamber, sometimes we didn't, but as long as we could get the St. Louis chamber, we could get, the Portland chamber, which won't happen here, I don't think. But I mean, going to those folks, and then you create this tie, you get those champions, get those few business leaders that people in the community respect, get them to sign a letter, get them to talk. That's really what helps and turns that everything around. When one opinion leader hears another opinion leader, it works. And so that's what I would recommend in terms of being able to get the businesses on board.